Welcome to this next video in Introduction to Music Fundamentals B. In this particular video, we're going to look at finding the key of a piece, which is an important skill which you will need to develop throughout your time at the university. But this year, we just start with some of the basics. So here are some practical hints when you are asked to find the key of a piece. When the piece has a key signature, take a look at the key signature. Identify which major and minor keys share this key signature, and we'll look at how to do this in a minute. You'll remember the table that we've created, which mimics the circle of fifths, and that is a very helpful tool when trying to identify keys, as you will see in this video. Usually there is one major and one minor key per key signature. Then check if there are any accidentals in the piece. That also helps. If you can work out what accidentals there are, that gives a clue to what kind of key you are working with. Then, if there are no accidentals, the piece is probably in the major key, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. You can also check the first and the last notes. Those often give a clue to the key of the piece. If one of them is the tonic, and you'll remember the word tonic from one of the earlier videos when we looked at the degrees of the scale. Tonic is the first note of the scale. If there are accidentals, the accidental might be the 7th degree of the minor key. And you'll remember from several videos back that the minor key, the harmonic minor key, the 7th note is always raised a semitone, and in the melodic minor key on the way up, both the 6th and the 7th notes are raised. So it may be that one of the accidentals is the 7th or the 6th degree. So we'll look at those and see if those give us any clues in the next few examples. So here's an example. Take a look at the screen now. You'll see that we have a piece which has a key signature, and there are 4 sharps in the key signature. Let's have a look at how we would work this out step by step. The first step is to check the number of sharps or flats in the key signature. In this case, there are 4 sharps. The second step is then to go to that table that we've created and to look for the places on the table where it says 4 sharps. So if you look at the screen now, you'll see that I've indicated where on the table there are 4 sharps. You'll see for the major keys, E major has 4 sharps. For the minor keys, C sharp minor has 4 sharps. So we know that we're working with one of these 2 key signatures, either E major or C minor. Now we've got to work out which one of these it is. Step 3, we check if there are any accidentals. So look at the 4 bars or 5 bars of music that we have there. Do you see any accidentals? There are none, only the ones that are indicated by the key signature. So we are probably working with E major. You remember at the beginning of this video, I said if there are no accidentals, then we're probably following the key signature that is given at the beginning for the major key rather than the minor key. If there are accidentals, it usually indicates that we're working with a minor key. Then step 4, check the first and the last notes. And in this case, you'll see the first note is an E right at the beginning. And so is the last note, but just an octave higher, is also an E. That is the tonic note of E, of the key of E. So this confirms to us that we are working with E major. We've looked at the key signature. We saw that the key signature had 2 possibilities, E major or C sharp minor. We identified that there were no accidentals in the piece, so that ruled out probably the minor key. And we also worked out the first and the last notes, which were both the tonic note, which gave us a strong indication that we are working with E major. Now, if I was to play this melody for you, you would definitely hear that it is in the major key, so that helps us. But if you aren't able to hear the melody, you can still work it out as I've just shown you now. Let's have a look at another example. Take a look at your screen now and have a look at what we've got. You'll see that the key signature has got 2 flats, B flat and E flat. But you'll see also that we are working now with an example with an accidental. It's got F sharp in it. So let's see how we'd work this out. Step 1, check the number of sharps or flats in the key signature. And in this case, as we've said, there are 2 flats. So just like we did before, in step 2, you look at your table. Where are the keys with 2 flats? And you'll see the major key with 2 flats is B flat major, and the minor key with 2 flats is G minor. Then let's go to step 3. So we're working with B flat major or G minor. It's going to be one of those 2. We check if there are any accidentals, and in this case, there is an F sharp. We're working with F sharp. Is there an F sharp in B flat major? And the answer is no. B flat major only has B flat and E flat. Is there an F sharp in G minor? Well, yes, there is. If you look at your screen now, you'll see that I've written out the scale of G minor. Okay, G minor is the relative of B flat major, so it also has the B flat and the E flat, as you can see I've written in there. But the 7th note is raised a semitone. Remember, in the harmonic minor scale, the 7th note is always raised a semitone, and it has become F sharp. So you can see that it has got an F sharp in it. So G minor does have an F sharp. If we look at the first and the last notes in this case, we'll see that they also are G's. First note is G. The second or the last note is G. So we are definitely working with G minor here. We've got the key signature that is for B flat or G minor, but B flat major does not have an F sharp. So we're definitely working with G minor. Now you can see how it works when you've got an accidental. Let's look at another example now. This one also has an accidental in it. If you look at the key signature, 1 sharp, F sharp. But we're also dealing with a D sharp. So let's go through the steps to see if we can work out what this piece is, what key this piece is in. Step 1, we check the number of sharps or flats in the key signature, and we've said there's 1 sharp. Step 2, we go to our table. Go and have a look where 1 sharp is. For the major keys, it's G major. For the minor keys, it's E minor. So we're either working with G major or E minor. Now, we check if there are any accidentals, and we've already noted that there is a D sharp. Is there a D sharp in G major? No, there isn't. Is there a D sharp in E minor? Yes, there is. Take a look at your screen now. You'll see I've written the E minor scale for you. It does have the F sharp. Okay, the second note is F sharp. But like all minor scales, harmonic minor scales, the 7th note is raised a semitone. And the 7th note in this example is D. It's gone up to D sharp. So we definitely have a D sharp in E minor. Then if we check the first and the last notes, in this example, you'll note that the first note is an E, but the last note isn't. The last note is a B. Now, where does B fit in with the scale? If we look at the screen again, you'll see that B is the 5th note of the scale, which means it's the dominant of E minor. If you ever end a piece on the tonic or the dominant, and the name of that note, dominant, means that it's something important, okay? We'll learn more about that in coming years, about the dominant and its important role in the scale. But for now, just remember that the name itself just gives it away. Tonic and dominant, if you land on any of those notes at the beginning or the end, you are probably working in that particular key. And so we can decide that this piece, because it's not in G major, okay, that was the one option that we had with the key signature, it must be E minor because it does have the D sharp and it starts on the tonic and ends on the dominant. All right, now what happens if you have a piece that does have no key signature? There's no key signature at the beginning and there are just accidentals. And you are asked to find the key of the piece. Okay, well, this is slightly more complicated, but not that much more difficult. First step, let's take a look at the example that you have on your screen there. List all the accidentals and see if you can put them in the regular order of sharps or flats. In this case, we're working with sharps. Okay, so the normal order of sharps is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, so it's got to be F, C, G, D, A, E, and B. That's the normal pattern, okay? Now let's have a look at the sharps that we have. We've got a D sharp in the first bar. In the third bar, we've got an F sharp. In the fifth bar, we've got another D sharp. In the sixth bar, a C sharp. So we've got 3 sharps so far, D, F, and C. Let's put them in the order of the sharps, okay? We've got F must come first, then C. You'll note that there's no G sharp in this piece. And if we look at the piece, there are no Gs at all. So we're just for the moment going to put a placeholder there, G sharp. And you'll see if you look at the screen, I've put a red G sharp there for the moment. It means that it doesn't appear in the piece, but that it could be in this key signature. And we also have a D sharp. Okay, that gives us in total probably 4 sharps. Definitely 3, but probably 4. Now, let's list all the notes that do not have accidentals. Okay, if we look in the first bar, they're all D sharps. So there are no notes without accidentals there. The second bar has got E natural. Okay, so there's one note that is a natural. Third bar, all F sharps. Fourth bar, F sharp and E. We've already got the E written down. The next bar is D sharp only, so we can't write anything there. The next bar is D sharp and C sharp. We've already got those notes. And the last note is B. So the 2 natural notes that we have are E and B. Okay, step 1 and step 2 are done. Step 1, remember, is listing all the accidentals. Step 2 is writing down all the notes that do not have accidentals. And now we bring up that very important table of keys. Okay. Now we're going to eliminate all the possible keys which cannot conform to the list of notes that we have. Okay. Now we've got no flats in this example. No flats at all. So we can eliminate all the flat keys. That's F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. None of those are going to be options for us. Okay. This example that we've been working with has at least 4 sharps, which means that every key that has less than 4 sharps is not going to be an option. So C major, G major, D major, and A major are not possibilities. Remember, C major has no sharps, G major has only 1 sharp, D major has 2 sharps, and A major has 3 sharps. So none of those keys are going to work for us. Only E, B, F sharp, and C sharp are possibilities so far. Okay? We've also noted that our particular example has an E natural and a B natural. So this also means that F sharp major is not an option because F sharp major has an E sharp in it. So that's out. Okay? C sharp major has no naturals in it. So that's also out. That leaves us with only 2 possibilities. This piece could be in E major, which has 4 sharps, or it could be in B major, which has got 5 sharps. Both of those keys have all the sharps that we have, and both of those keys also have the E and B natural. So let's check which one it probably is. Now we come to asking what is the first and the last note. Okay, in the first note is a D sharp. Okay, and there's no key with a D sharp in our circle of fifths, so we can't use that. But if we look at the last note, it is a B. And that gives us a clue. Is B the tonic of one of the keys that we've had? Yes, it is. It is the tonic of B major. So it is most likely that this piece is B major. If I played it for you, you'd be able to hear immediately that it is B major because it just falls so easily towards the end. It kind of feels that it is really very much rooted in that last note. But if you were just looking at it off the cuff and you weren't able to listen to the piece except in your inner ear, you would also be able to work out that it is most likely B major. And that's where we end this lesson.